and welcome back to another personal art video. We don't really have, you know, oh man, look at these sketches. Aren't they something to marvel? Aren't they something to marvel? On social media these are already up, but you know, this is an old sketchbook, but these drawings are new. I am looking for the ones that are not um, colored, so we can you know, I thought we'd do like a little detour, just a little bit of I really like this one, but just a little detour. We got some sketches here, some sketches that are not very the best, and I think this is the one that we're gonna work on. Um, we had like a little something. I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do with this book. 'Cause I feel like there we go. We had to do a crazy little setup, but yeah, it's a character that I've drawn digitally before. Um, I don't know if the digital version will be in the book. I mean, in the video. All right, we're gonna use the Sharpie pen, the broken one, and if all else fails, we do have alternatives. So I will keep the alternatives present, so that way we don't have any trouble. And as for coloring, I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but we have a Sharpie pen, the old version, and yeah, so we're gonna just start doing our thing. Yeah, usually, we don't see the future art because of the way that the sketchbook is like set up. But this is one of those like spine sketchbooks, or I don't know how you describe it. I prefer like the spiral. Alright, so this is not working because that tip is like broken and I keep trying to force it to work. So let's just use this. And my warm up obviously did not pay off because as we are seeing, my line is not very good. Not a good line at all. But that's the way that it is. I did some pretty cool drawings yesterday with this setup. They are on I guess Instagram and the other app, but I think I made a mistake, but that's fine. I am curious how we're going to color this. I do wonder if we have enough juice in these ratty old markers to do it. But also, like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. I think the hardest part of this process at home is going to be the blind contour drawing, because that is a bit more complicated. See, I don't know which wing is the wing. There's two, but I would just do that one and call it a day. Just like a little bit of color. I think we should do the background as like black. I think that would be cool. Or actually, we could just do the whole background as black and not color it in at all. Alright, let's see if we have one of these pens has enough juice to kind of shoulder that burden. Alright, this one. Alright, let's see if we can rejuvenate this a little bit. Alright, we've tried to rejuvenate it. And it did not work. So let's, triple plan B. There's this, maybe this might work. I love how this is like a black marker and it comes out as gray. That's not good. Alright. We have multiple plans. We have multiple contingencies here. Because at home we have all the, alright, here we go. This is a good one. We got multiple contingencies because we have the entire art supply at our beck and call. The only bad thing about this is the strong marker smell. But that is fine. We need to focus on the function of what we need and not the polarity. Yeah, this is like a little character that I made. It's got like an angel wing and a devil wing, or a bat wing, whatever you want to call it. Also, this sketchbook does not come with these lines. I had to do them by hand using a ruler triangle thing. But it's I find that it's pretty good. Like, I like having that box. I think it like makes my brain work better to draw, because without it, my brain has a hard time distinguishing what's mine and what's not mine. So, and when I say what's mine, what's not mine, is like drawing a character. Sometimes, like, you know how you draw like a character, and you'll draw like the top part of their body, but they'll have their legs will be like not present because uh you don't have enough space, and that's one of the, I guess, key problems that I run into when I'm drawing. And in digital, you could pretty much just solve that problem with you could solve that problem very simply by just sorry. In digital, you can solve that problem very simply by drawing, by like resizing. Like, you select, transform, resize, and you should be good. You know, you don't have to worry about anything, and that makes it a lot easier to deal with. Alright, now, you know, that could be the end of it, but we wanna push ourselves. We wanna, you know, try to be all we can be. So I'm not sure if we should use marker or color pencil, but out of the sake of my heart, we're gonna use marker. I decided against the color pencil. We've gone against color pencil and we're gonna use marker. And it would be nice if I had the reference open, so I will open the reference for myself. Sorry, you know, like, a lot of times you can, like, you know, plan ahead, but I will say that a lot of times I'm not going to. That's one of the biggest things about traditional art, is that you have to kind of like plan ahead. There are some people that could do it kind of like instantaneously. I don't think that I'm one of those people. I very much know that I have to plan ahead, and I still don't plan ahead half the time. So um, I just have to find the images really far. It's an old image, I believe. How old? I don't remember. But yeah, like, scrolling through this, I'm seeing a bunch of other characters that I want to do, and that I kind of forgot about. So that's good news. Here it is. I don't even know, like, if I was to like open the image, like, would it even come up? Like, that's the digital version, and yeah. So the shirt is green. So you know what that means. We start with like yellow. You know, I would like speed up that part where we had to look through it, but I don't know. I kind of like the process being as long as it is, and I do like um you to see that entire process and not just think like one of the biggest things for me when I watch people do art is that I want to see the process. Like, I don't want to see, wow, how is this like ink still wet, bro? Um, one of the biggest things for me is that I want to see the process. Like, I don't want to get like the falsehood of like, everything is done in one fell swoop. All the art is complete in one maneuver. I really do dislike that, and I think that we get enough of that on social media. That's why I like to post like incrementally and not all at once, because people will see a finished work like, wow, you're so talented, or wow, you're just so talented at this thing, and it's like, that's not talent, bro. Like, it's grinding. Like, you just worked really hard, or you worked as hard as you could, and you accomplished your goal to the best of your abilities. And I don't think that that's like talent. I think that that's like, you're just grinding. And I don't like this idea that, you know, you can only do art if you're talented, or you can only do this if you're talented at it. It's really annoying, and a lot of people believe it. A lot of people buy into that garbage, and it prevents them, in my opinion, it prevents them from ever trying to do it. And I think that that is, a grave waste of a grave waste of what could be. You know, you could literally, like, look at this. The freaking barrel of it is like, it's in the barrel. Um, you could be the greatest you can be if you were to try, but instead you won't, because you believe in this like idea that you need talent to do something, and I don't believe that. You know, do you need the will to grind a lot of the stuff? Sure. You might need desire. I don't even believe in motivation, honestly. Like, I believe in inspiration. I don't believe in motivation. I think motivation can be a strong tool if you know how to use it, but dedication is much more powerful, because dedication will allow you to do it even when you don't want to. And I think motivation is a fleeting thing that comes and goes at a whim, and you can't control motivation, because motivation is not your friend, right? Like, motivation is not your friend. Motivation is an op, you know. Motivation is an enemy, and if you rely on motivation, or um, interact with motivation, you will constantly be at odds with growth, because it's easy to get demotivated. It's easy to get um, unmotivated. It is much more difficult to ignore, something that you enjoy, or something that is a disciplinary, if you hold to those, like, I guess, ideas very closely. And I think that people may not acknowledge that specific thought process, because it's hard to it's hard to like it's hard to admit that, because I feel like a lot of times, like, the ideas that people don't want to say that, oh, I don't want to do this. Instead, they rather be like, wow, you're so good at this thing, because I don't know, you're just good at it. It's like, you don't really see the person, like, suffering, or not suffering, but like, you know, going through the anguish and whatnot, or like, learning their craft or their whatever they're doing. And are there some people out there who are just, innately good at some stuff? Sure. But, it's hard to know that because you can't, uh, you know, follow them all day long and be on their neck all day long and see what's going on. Because if you could, maybe you might see something a little bit different. Maybe you might see something a little bit uh, adverse to what it is that you believe, and that in itself could be a a force of good for you. Teach you a little something, but it's hard because one, a lot of times people don't really care where their food, or like, for instance, like people don't usually really care where their food comes from, and or like they don't really care about the steps in between something like the mail, or you know why is a clock ticking. There are people out there who do care about these things and make a whole life of it and learn about them and become a part of those like things. But for the most part, like nobody knows, or like most people don't know like trade routes, or they don't know how a computer works or whatever, or these other things. It's just like it just happens, so it is, right? It's like a thing that's occurring, so it does not matter how we get to that point as long as that point is achieved. As long as that entity or that object happens or that thing happens, it does not matter how it happens as long as it happens. And that is part of that's part of the issue, is that we don't know how a lot of stuff happens, and we lack the curiosity sometimes to investigate those things. But it's for good reason why we don't investigate a lot of that stuff. And part of it is just, after you work like an 8-hour day or whatever, depending on what type of, career or job you have, you don't want to be out there looking into anything. You are, functionally, a lot of times, depending on what type of job you have, what type of work you do, it might be soul crushing to the point that when you get home, you don't want to do anything, right? You don't want to do anything at all. You just want to, um, lay down, maybe put on your favorite show or music, eat your dinner, and go to sleep. You don't want to do anything extra. And there are people out there who do extra things. They will, push themselves beyond that point of I don't want to do anything, which is, a unique bunch, because to be fair, the I don't want to do nothing is a clear sentiment. You're getting home, tired. You don't really have much energy left in the tank, much capacity left to grind out other stuff, and that is a fair thing. That is fair to feel, fair to think, fair to be. And if things were, better, you'd have more time to do the things that you enjoy instead of wasting, this one life that you get toiling away for gains that you will never see, because, you're at the wrong end of the chain. You're on the wrong end of the stick. And it's really hard out there for people in general. And I would hope that one day that could change. But my main critique is there are people that believe that, drawing is a talent, and it's a skill, like riding a bike or tying your shoes. You can learn how to do it, and everybody can learn how to do art. There is no like, oh my god, you're not drawing like uh Michelangelo, so you're not an artist, or you're not drawing like um whoever, Kim Jong Ji or whatever, like, you're not an artist because you can't draw like that. Like, that's not true. You know, those are not true statements. Those are not even relevant statements, because whatever you create, whatever you do, is up to you. And I think that everybody can draw, whether it be stick figures, you know, less than stick figures, whatever. And you should draw, or at least like create art to some degree. Create something that you like. Create something that inspires you or makes you feel inspired, because I think that it is a shame that we have people that are afraid to dream anymore. People are afraid to dream about anything, to dream about having the ability or even the courage to put pen to paper or a pencil or crayon or whatever. And whenever I see somebody like doing art, maybe I don't like it, maybe I'm not particularly a fan of it, but I don't call them trash, because they're trying. They're taking their humanity and doing something with it. And I think that is important, that we give that the credit it deserves, especially in more modern times. Somebody willing to do a little beautifying of the world from their brain, you know. Oh man, it's, may not be the best thing ever made, but people are, putting themselves on display to showcase something that they might be thinking or feeling. And personally, I agree with that in a way that is much more I agree with that in a way that is much more idealistic, I guess, than anything else. And I consider that to be more important than most things. We probably should have left it without the orange line, but it's too late now. But yes, that is it. This is the final part. Next time we'll be working on this. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching. And if you made it this far into the video, hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Oh crap. Bye.